So I read Brainwashed by Ben Shapiro, and this was my first Ben Shapiro book I've ever read. I've listened to his show, and I have some disagreements with him, but overall I like what he puts out. And this book was okay. For one, it's important to know that this book was written in 2004, so it's an older book, and or at least it was published in 2004. It's an older book, and that has something to do with my review of it, because I'm reviewing it if you were to read it now. And it's kind of lost part of it. It's not as good as it was back in 2004 for a few reasons. So the book is basically just going on about Ben Shapiro's, just listing all kinds of different things that professors have said. And in the beginning of the book, like the first third of it, that's really all you need. Because, for example, if you have a professor advocating something absolutely ridiculous, you don't really have to spend time debunking the argument because it is just so absolutely ridiculous that you're just like, wow, I don't want my children in these schools. Like, I don't want people, it's awful that people are learning from these types of people. And that's the whole point of the book, is him saying, like, look at all these leftists at universities, and they are teaching your children, is the whole point. So earlier on, he goes through all these awful things that, all he does is just say, here's something that this professor said. Here's something that this professor has said. This professor teaches this way and does this. And you're just like, oh my, why do these people have jobs at universities like that? Like, that is insane. But then the book kind of goes downhill a little bit because you'll start talking about things that really aren't that radical. Because I guess his whole point is to talk about how leftists control universities, but if all you're doing is just citing professors with left-wing views, that's not that bad. Of course, he's referencing statistics too, I believe, on how many professors have left-wing views, and that's certainly something to be worried about. But he'll start talking about how certain professors think that homosexuality is okay. And then certain professors think that people should be able to, or a physician assistant euthanasia should be okay. And he'll go on about things that, people actually believe this. And he'll go on and, especially this was written, again, 2004. So when it comes to war, he'll talk about how, hey, some professors believe that we shouldn't immediately invade Iraq after 9/11. And you're just like, okay, but I'm one of those people. He puts out views that really aren't that radical, and you don't even have to be left-wing to believe. And that's where I kind of lost him, because he's, the whole book is just him putting out things saying, this is ridiculous, can you believe it? And when he gets to things that aren't that ridiculous, it kind of loses its point, because he puts things that just aren't really ridiculous. It's just like, oh, these professors think homosexuality is fine. Okay, so? Most right-wingers believe that now. Again, it was written in 2004. But that's where he loses it, honestly, is because you're so used to seeing all these crazy views that when you see something that's not that crazy, you're like, oh, okay. So, honestly, if you were to come out with this book today, if he could just cut out all the things that are really oh, okay, that's not that radical, then that would be great. Then that would be fine. So, yeah, that's it, honestly. So it's an okay book. It's got a lot of good parts to the book, and then some parts that just aren't that good. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you have read the book, like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and thanks for watching.